Okay. So this class and in the subsequent classes will not assume that we are operating the SQL on only single table. In the last class, we have assumed that all the operations that we are performing on a single table. But now we will focus on operations that are involving two or more tables. For the understanding and then example purposes, we are taking two tables alone in this particular class. But this discussion can be extended to more than two tables. So from that perspective, we will go forward that when two tables are involved, what kind of operation that you can perform, possible operations, is that you can perform union between two tables, intersection between two tables, difference between two tables, and then perform cross product operations between two tables, join two tables. These are all the operations that you can perform. And these are all of immense relevance in the real world querying scenarios. I'll give you one example with respect to difference. Is that there could be a query of this form that give me the list of names of the students who registered for databases lab but not databases theory. So then you will predominantly use difference operators. Those who are registered for lab but not for theory. And there are several such pragmatic queries that can be performed using these operations. Even though we will be discussing these operations at a abstract level, when we also discuss once these operation discussions are completed, I will take a textbook example and then walk you through each of the utility of each of the operations, be it on single table or be it on two or more tables, how they can be first of all queried on example databases, and then how SQL constructs can be formulated. So that is the thing. So first we will take up the union operator. So let us say that union operator, I have two tables. This is table 1, A1, A2, A3 are the column names of the table 1. B1, B2, B3 are the column names of the table 2. And I wanted to perform union operation between these two tables. So what this union does is that it simply appends B1, the table B1 and its contents to A1 and then place it in the resulting set. And it also implicitly removes all the duplicates. So once again, so this resulting table contains the entire contents, all the rows of table 1 and all the rows of table 2, and the resulting thing, all the duplicates within this result set will be eliminated. So that is the thing. But then there are conditions that actually apply on union operators. The first condition is that the two tables should have identical number of columns. Here we have 3 number of columns, so are these here. Which means that not only that one, every column must have identical data type. If A1 is an integer, B1 must be an integer. A2 is a character, B2 must be a character. A3 is a date, B3 must be a date. That is how this construct will take into account. And we will look at an example of this is what is the theoretical concept behind this one, and the way that you query from the SQL is that union is the keyword which will perform given two tables. Now, how do you get first table? First of all, and this table and its contents we need to get. It is not that they are available. So the way that you get these contents are that you have to select. You have to use select the three columns from table A, and this results in getting all these rows from this table A. Similarly, you do the same thing for table B. So you take these three columns from table B and then perform the union operator. And how the computation internally takes place. Let us see how the internal computations takes place. Once again, this is at a very example level, not this is what algorithmically the database engine will implement. The database engine implements a lot of optimizations and then perform these union operations. So if I have two tables and then need to perform union, so there is a left hand table and then right hand side table to the union operator. So I'll take one row onto the left hand side of the table and then place that into the resulting table without even performing any checks. And then till I exhaust all the rows from the left hand side table. Here only two rows are there. I'll populate those two rows over here. Once the table A's rows are exhausted, I'll move to the next table. And then try to include the rows of B1, the table B, into the result set with a condition that there should not be any duplicates. So since 1, 2, 3 is row completely exists. See, when I'm looking at row, I will take in totality both all the three columns of B1, B2, B3, whether they are reflecting over here in A1, A2, A3, which means that B1 is equal to A1, B2 equal to A2, B3 equal to A3. That is what is the meaning of it. Since it is existing already, so I will not update this table. I will go to the next row of table B and then ask this question that is 789 part of this table, result set table. If it is not, include it. That is what we will be doing. And then you see our set theoretic definitions are also adhered. It is not that we have we explicitly kind of adhere to the set theoretic notations. And please note that what is you please now very carefully note what is the table that gets created and what are the names of the columns. That is very interesting. Is that even before you say anything, we have given two tables. Here column names can be different, but their data types must be identical. So here I have two distinct column names for each of these two tables. Here is A1, here is B1. But what could be the column name for the resulting table set? Now you see very carefully. I have this table that gets created with the identical column names of the left hand side of the union operator. So if the left hand side of the union operator is A1, A2, A3, that gets reflected in the new table column names. And then the data types are also identical to the data types of the left hand side table. So that is what is the thing. So now if this particular slide, what it does is that it just reverses the tables. Instead of table A union table B, I am saying that table B union table A. And what is in answer, is there any difference? There is no difference. But what is the difference that actually gets in? It is the names of the columns that populated in the resulting new table. And these are very important. Maybe you might at this hour might be more interested in examining the result set. It's also equally important to understand what is the column names of the resulting table. Why? Because we wanted to further query this table, whatever the table that is being created. So that is the reason why we should be much more concerned about what could be the names of the columns that are created in the new table. So now, and the way that how we will achieve this one in SQL is that we first select the contents of the table B through this select statement. Select B1, B2, B3 from table B. Union, select A1, A2, A3 from table A. That's how we will be looking at it. So there are no differences. So what if you wanted to retain the duplicates? I mean, here the case is that the database engine will remove all the duplicates. And some query instances you wanted to retain the duplicates. No, you please get me all the, and the reason why you wanted to do that one is that one example is that a student who has repeated a particular course in his entire duration of the BTech program, let us say CS 101 has been repeated by a particular student. Now you want to get all the instances of the CS 101. It is not that, okay, well, CS 101 has been already been present, I will eliminate that one. It cannot be the case. You have to include them, duplicates also, even though they are appearing once again. The way that the duplicates will be adhered is that once again, how this operation will be performed? I will be copying all the contents of table A into the resulting set, table and the new table. Then I will copy all the contents of table B into this one. Quite computationally, it's very straightforward. But the way that we instruct SQL is that select A1, A2, A3 from table A. There is no difference. We did the same thing earlier as well. But the only difference is that we wanted to say union all. You retain all the duplicates also. And then with select B1, B2, B3 from table P. So this all is instructing that please do not remove the duplicates. That's how it will be populated. Now there are certain things to be really important to look at how these rows will be appearing to us in the resulting table. If A1 is a primary key or B1 is a primary key, whatever it might be, the order in which they will be preserved is all internal to the database engine. You might be wondering that, okay, what is the issue of the point that I wanted to make, a summary, is that on the physical storage structure, the way the table A has been stored, the way table B has been stored might be completely different. But when you perform union operation, the resulting set, you have to rely upon the database storage structure and the operation, the optimized operations of the unions. However, if you wanted to change the order of the presentations, then you can always rely on sort by column A, then followed by sort by column B, then sort by column C. Here you can actually say that sort by A1, followed by A2, followed by A3. That is what you have the ability to organize these record structures or row structures. Sorry. But however, you also note one more point is that none of these tables that are result of the select statement are stored onto the disk. even the earlier statement that we have performed, select only columns, select only rows, select rows and columns, and so on and so forth. And these operations, whatever that we are trying to learn, they all result in a new table, and this new table will not be residing on the disk. It is computed and then shown to the user. Once you are done with this computation, database even doesn't even know what you have queried. Sorry. So now it is onus on you is how to reorganize these records and then store back this data onto the disk. We'll look at how we will be doing these things as we go along. So one more example of these record structures are that if there are here, see the duplicates, when I'm actually referring to the duplicates, the duplicates can be present in within the table A or within the table B or across table A and B. So that is what you have to remember. And here in both these examples, we have duplicates that are present across tables. It is not within the table. If you look at within the tables, there are no duplicates. But when you perform the union operation, the duplicates are appearing. That's what is the main thing. So now there are pitfalls over here. Is that one first pitfall we'll look at it is that we have looked at the union operator with 3 columns over here, 3 columns over here, but there still becomes an error. Why? Because the data type mismatch is there. Here you are trying to union integers with the character strings. It results in data types incompatibility, so union will not be performed. On the other hand, if you wanted to say that I wanted to union table A with table B, even though first 3 columns are identical with identical data types, the table B has additional columns. So the SQL will result in an error saying that, well, this is a union incompatibility is missing. And this is at the heart of the operation of 2 or more tables. Union compatibility must be adhered. And you will see subsequently when you wanted to query on these resulting tables, this becomes much more rigorous and then it actually has a lot of implications on this one. Right? So now we'll move on to the next operator, that is the intersection operator.
So,
and yes, please.
I have a question.
Yes.
Sir, when we say that the columns must have identical data types, is there no constraint on the constraints that we have? Like suppose A2 has not null constraint, but B2 doesn't have that constraint, and some row has a null value. What will happen?
So null values will be a very good question. We will see. We will have a separate discussion on the nulls. Right. What he is saying is that data types. This is an integer. This is an integer, but it is not null. It cannot take null values, but this can take null values. Null value presence is not violating the data type. So the question that we have to ask is that what is the data type of null? Is it violating? So the answer is that it's unknown, so it will be just silent. So now the question is that now, see, it is since A2 is integer, B2 is integer, as of now we will not take into account the constraints. Now I wanted to ask this question that is 1, 2, 3 identical to 1 null 3? That is the question.
Yes.
The answer is unknown, right? So which means that I will place 1, 2, 3 into the result set. Once again I will ask the same question. 1 null 3 is present in any of these records in table A. The answer is not known. So I will present that one in the union table, which means that one null 3 also will be part of the union operator. No, result set of the union operator.
But sir, in the result set, what would be the constraints on A2? Like initially we had a constraint on A2 for not null, right? So in the result set, would that constraint be retained or what will happen?
Oh, the constraints are only applicable for your original table, table A.
Okay, the
Table
constraints don't move. Like
table, no constraints will be populated.
okay, sir.
It's a very important question. In fact, it's a very interesting question as well. That you have seen in your assignments also, whenever you have to place constraints, you are explicitly instructing the database that you please place the constraint on this particular column. Right? When these operations, whatever that we are trying to perform, they will create a table, and on the resulting table there will not be any constraints. So here no constraints will be. This is a separate table. It has no relation with your existing on the disk data. It is only transient table which will be kind of outputted onto the terminal or onto your web browser or wherever without any constraints. And if you want to place any constraints on this particular thing, first of all you have to store this table onto the disk and then place the constraints.
Excuse me, sir. Sir, does it mean that the table resulting from the select statement, in that also there will be no constraints?
No. So that is where, see, a very interesting question is that, let me just go back to the previous lecture slides. Give me a minute. See here, in this particular example, only one table is there, and sailor ID is a unique number. That is a constraint on this in this particular example. No two rows has identical identity of sailors. But is it always the case that no two sailors must have same rating? Two sailors have same rating, right? So resulting set, whatever it might be, it didn't even bother about what are the constraints. These constraints are to be honored on this particular sailors table. Whatever the operations might be that you wanted to insert a record into the row into the new sailors table. At that point in time, since you are inserting into the sailors table, the constraints will be checked by the database. Right? And that is precisely the reason why you have got all the ratings that are being present in this particular table. Now, if you say, since these are all the things, this must be adhered, it need not be the case. And you might actually say that, sir, there are no constraints on the ratings, so that's why this is not happening. Right? So, if let us say, if you just say that select SID, that's what we have done, and ratings, all of them will be kind of populated. So, you are not even bothered about what is being the constraints. See, the constraints are when they will come into picture. When you are inserting, let us say SID is the primary key, rating should not be null, A should be more than 10. Let us say these are the constraints. For an example, these constraints are to be adhered when I insert one record into this table, when I update this record from any record from this table, but not while reading this table. Why? Because I am only performing read operation, which means that this table already has adhered to the constraints.
Yes, sir. Understood, sir.
Perfect.
So when we save the new table,
Yes.
Just a second, sir. When we
Yes,
save
yes.
that new table,
Uh-huh.
does
Okay.
does that table retain the constraints of the previous table in the select statement?
This table has no relation. It's a new table. You have to place once again constraints afresh.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So now this is the way in which the duplicates will be handled by the union operator. Data type
Sir, I have
mismatch. Yes, yes,
Sir, I have a
yes,
doubt.
yes.
Sir, if there are identical duplicate rows within a table and we perform union without using the word all, we just write union in the select statement. So the duplicate rows will be there in the union table or not?
No, no. The moment you say union without what you are instructing is that you eliminate all the duplicates wherever they are.
Okay, sir. And sir, while for the column names, if we are writing A union B, so the column names will be of the column of the table A, and B. If we are writing B union A, then the columns name are of table B, or they are like of any one of them.
No, no, no. See, here what is that so let me just look at this one. Here what is it that we have given this SQL statement? Select A1, A2, A3 from table A, union select B1, B2, B3 from table B. So first A union B is coming. So the resulting table will have the column names as A1, A2, A3. Their data types are also of same type of data type of this particular table A. The moment you say table B union A, the resulting table name will be B1, B2, B3 and the data type will be of the same type of table B.
Yes, sir, I got it.
Right, perfect. So we'll go to the next operator, which is intersection operator. In the intersection operator also, union compatibility test must pass, which means that number of columns and then number of columns and then the data types must be identical. And intersection, what it does is that you take one row from table A and whether it is existing in table B. Are there any common rows in these things? Are there any common records in table A and table B? Right? If they are, then it will be populated. Otherwise, they will not be populated. Right? In this particular example, 1, 2, 3 is present in table B. So it will be part of this intersection operation. Now, what are the column names? Once again, identical to union operator. If it is left-hand side tables, column names will be populated here. Left-hand side's data types will be populated here. How the computation takes place? First, I'll take the first row 1, 2, 3 of table A and then search for that entire row in table B. And then, which means that I will perform this operation. In table B, I'll take one row 1, 2, 3 and then perform this operation on every record of table B. Is A1 equal to B1? No, you see here only for our purposes. It is not the syntactic thing. Please remember, in SQL it is only 1 is equal to, even whether you are comparing union operator, no, the equality test or assignment test. I will modify this one, otherwise it will give confusion to you. So all that we are essentially asking is that is A1 value identical to B1 value, A2 value identical to B2 value, A3 value identical to B3 value. If yes, place that one. So I'll perform for every. So no, here in the first instance itself we have got the true test. The test of this particular test has resulted in value truth value. It will be placed in the resulting set. If you take 4, 5, 6 record, it will exhaustively scan the table B. And then that is what actually happens. So then it will place that one into this one. So for both the records 4, 5, 6 and 7, 8, 9, nothing is there. So it will just will not be placed into the resulting set table, resulting table. So what if duplicates are there? Once again, identical thing, that duplicates will be either eliminated or duplicates will be retained. Here, see here somebody has asked if these duplicates are present within the table A, what will happen? If you say don't eliminate duplicates, you will actually get 1, 2, 3. Otherwise, so this records will only one time it will test. It will take 1, 2, 3 and then it will scan in the entire table B. I have found for the first time, I will include it. So assume logically that I have now marked that I have noted the contents in the resulting set, which means that for a crude discussion sake, I'll remove these two from these sets and then present this one. And then when I go to the next table, I'll ask this question, is 1, 2, 3 existing? Is 1, 2, 3 in the second record of table A existing in table B? Now it is not existing because it's already been part of the result set, so this will not be included. This is only for discussion purposes. It's not that physically go to that record in the table B and then it will remove it. This particular thing will not be done because these are all only read operations. I am just only telling you for the discussion sake. So it will ask this question that is 1, 2, 3 part of this table? Yes, it is part of the table, but it also tests whether the result set is having this 1, 2, 3. Yes, it is. So it will not include 1, 2, 3. Once again, it will not include the third row of table A, but it will include the last row of table A because it is present in table B as well. So the resulting thing is that you have got 1, 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6 by removing the duplicates. If you wanted to retain the duplicates, you will get entire table A as the answer for the scenario. So now what if you violate the union compatibility? Once again, the data types, there are mismatch. There are number of columns, there is a mismatch. See here you have to be really careful about, once again, is that I wanted to emphasize again and again that you might be having B1, B2, B3 data types identical to A1, A2, A3. Still it will result in an error because the number of columns are violating. Okay, fine. So now, okay, what is the SQL equivalent of the intersect? I will give me some time, I will get back to you. Okay, I forgot, let me just pull that one for you. How that will be done is that I will take, see if I wanted to select only, remove all the duplicates, what is it that I have to do? I have to remove all the duplicates from table A and then perform this interaction operation. So, okay, let me just take you back to the SQL standards. If if it is not no relation to MySQL, if it is nothing, we are not discussing about MySQL at all, then union, we are essentially saying that table A union table B or table B union table A. And then if you wanted to perform intersection, you say table A intersect table B. Intersect is a keyword. It's a preserved keyword and then it is in the standards. But when it comes to MySQL, the intersect operation is not implemented. Okay, so then you have to do it in different ways. You have to do it in a much more different way. The way it will be done is that you will check whether this record is in this set. I'll just kind of come to that one. Is this record in this table B? Is this record belongs to this table B set or table B bag. So this is the notation. This is what I want to emphasize, right? For some reason I have placed these slides at the end, but I will reorganize and then get back to you with the correct order of the slides. So first of all, have you understood this particular thing? That even though SQL has standard has intersect keyword, MySQL has not implemented intersect operation. So now what happens is that we have to do it in different way. The way that we do is that you take every record of table A, the left hand side table, and then ask this question that is this record present in this table B. That is the thing that you will do it. And then you will do only distinct records in table A. You understood these particular operations? Let me just kind of invite some questions if anyone has. Somebody has some message? This has been addressed. Okay, if there are no questions, then so this is what we are trying to do. First, we are eliminating all the duplicates, which means we are taking only distinct records of table A, and then asking this question that for every such distinct record, we take one record and ask this question that this record is in table B. That is what that we are trying to do. We will convert that into MySQL statement. Intersect, we are saying select distinct records from table A, distinct A1, A2, A3 from table A. Now you see that where this record A1, A2, A3 is in table B. And if you wanted to retain duplicates, you remove this distinct over here. That is all. So now is the in operator is what it performs the testing whether this particular record that you are taking A1, A2, A3, one row of A1, A2, A3 is in the rows that are presented to me from table B. That is what it is tries to test. Which means it tries to test A1 equal to B1, A2 equal to B2, A3 equal to B3 for a particular row of table A. And then it will repeat for all the rows of table A. Okay, so let me just now proceed. So once again, these error things we have already looked at. We'll look at set difference. And then what is the real world query for the intersection operation? Is that very pragmatic query that can be asked. Is that give me the common courses taken by BTech third year students and BTech fourth year students. Common electives. That is what you wanted to. So you take first of all you take all the elective courses taken by the BTech third year students, and then you take all the electives taken by the BTech fourth year students, and then perform intersection on that one. So you will get common courses. So there are, depending on the query, you have to pick up these operators. Right? We'll also give some examples. Very specific examples how to construct them, but we are as of now we are understanding what are these operators and then how we wanted to construct this SQL. And what is the set difference? So let me just look at this difference. Intersect set difference. The definition from the set theoretic notation is that record is in A but not in B. That's what is the thing. So the computation always is identical. 4, 5, 6 is in A but not in B. 1, 2, 3 is in A, it's also in B, so it's not part of the result table. And how do you do this one? So here I have missed out not operator here. So I will just correct this one. You have to say select one record A1, A2, A3 from table A So A1, A2, A3 from this table. Check this A1, A2, A3, A1, A2, A3 is not in, here it should be not should be there, not in table B. That's what should be there. Then it will perform exactly and then it will result in the set difference operator. So the computation, if there are, that's how it will be done. So it will look at, okay, fine. See, even for set difference also, union compatibility must be adhered. So for all the union, intersection and then the set differences, union compatibility is a requirement. And then see here, if the duplicates are present, it is very interesting. It is not equal to the intersection operation. Intersection operation also will look at the duplicates. We have seen the intersection operation, the minimum number of, okay, I'll just, firstly let me just complete this set difference operation and then see how these duplicates are handled. So here assume that 1, 2, 3 is repeating 3 times. Here 1, 2, 3 is repeating 2 times. So we will remove, whenever we find 1, 2, 3 in this particular table B, we will remove that instance from both the tables. So 1, 2, 3 is present here, it is also present here, we will remove this one. Now the new table A is this one, new table B is this one. We will remove that also. I am just kind of, for the example sake, I am trying to say it. Now whatever is resulting in this particular thing, you repeat this operation. Now you ask this question that is 1, 2, 3 is part of this table B. No, so you put this one, you place 1, 2, 3 in the resulting table. Ask this question that 4, 5, 6 is present in this table. So it is present, so it should not be here. So once again there is an error. The thing is that only one record of 1, 2, 3 must be part of this one. 4, 5, 6 should not be appearing because 4, 5, 6 already is appearing in table B. Any questions?
Sir, I have a question on the slide in which the syntax of intersection was given.
Okay. Yes.
So here if in table B 4 columns are there, B1, B2, B3, B4, but in the select statement we just use B1, B2 and B3. So that will result in error or not, because the all A1, A2, A3 the columns are identical to B1, B2, B3, but A1 has only 3 columns but B has 4 columns.
No, see, this is where you have to be very clearly understanding is that, so table B is residing on the disk. It has 4 columns, but you are querying that only give me first 3 columns, B1, B2, B3. See, you are selecting 3 columns only from table B. So then it is correct, because even though 4 columns are there, you are first saying that you select only 3 columns from table B. Okay. Now, see, this select is a resulting one in the table. Yes. Is it correct?
Yes.
Forget about intersection. Forget about that one. The question is that is this particular select B1, B2, B3 from table B? Is it a table? Yes, it is a table. Is it a new table? It is not table B. Now, it's no more a table B. It's a new table, and this new table has 3 columns. The data types are identical to the data types of table B that is residing on the disk. Okay? Same is the case, you are saying that select A1, A2, A3 from table A. Table A may be having more than 3 columns. Still, this is a select statement and it will result in a new table. It's not identical to table A that is residing on the disk. And then this will be valid statement. And valid means it adheres to union compatibility test.
Yes, sir, I got it.
Okay, fine.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. I'm having a doubt in this intersection statement when we want to retain the duplicates.
Yes.
So in that, consider the case when we are having 1, 2, 3 entries for 5 times in table A and for 3 times in table B. So technically, while doing the intersection, we should get entry 3 times, right?
Yes, exactly. That is correct.
But this will not be followed in this statement, I guess. It will be populated 5 times in the table. Because we are just checking where this entry belongs to the subquery performed below.
No, here we are actually see here what is it that we are saying is that even if it is present, so what all that we are asking that first you take that record from table A and ask this question whether this record is in table B.
Yes.
And then put it. And then we are retaining duplicates. Please remember that one. We are retaining the duplicates.
Yes, sir. So 1, 2, 3 entry will be popped 5 times, right? Because there are 5 instances of 1, 2, 3 in table A.
Last thing. Which one? This one or this one?
Below one.
Retain duplicates.
Yeah.
Okay.
So suppose there are 5 instances of 1, 2, 3 in table A and 3 instances in table B.
Okay.
Naturally, with intersection, we want 3 entries in the answer.
Yes.
So this statement will give 5 rows in the answer for 1, 2, 3 because for each 1, 2, 3, it exists in the table, right?
You are correct. Seemingly that is the thing. I'll get back to you on this one. This is what you are saying is precise. We should get only 3 rows out of this intersection operation if we are retaining the duplicates.
Yeah.
Right. One more thing. One more thing I wanted to ask you that. See, if you say table A, table B intersection table A, is this correct?
Yes.
Now the question that I wanted to ask is that, see, we'll discuss this one in theory as well. See, these are all called the bags versus sets. We deviate from these definitions. What are the definitions that we have? Here, these kinds of definitions are applicable only for sets, which means that even though you have duplicates, it will just consider only one element. And in relational operators, we deviate from them. We allow the duplicates to be present. And in which case you are correct that only minimum of table A number of times this particular record is appearing in both the tables should be populated. But whether they preserve the order, for example, if you say is A minus B equal to B minus A, is it first of all the so get back to you on that one. Okay, I will confirm it and get back to you that whether it will preserve. So this is what is the summary table. That if you tend to take the intersection, if row is appearing in table R n times, the same row is appearing in m times, the intersection must give me minimum of m and n. This is what you are saying and it is precisely correct. And this particular thing must adhere to. Whatever the statement that we are getting over here must adhere to. Right? And in this one it is appearing that it will give 5 records. We will see how to get records as well. Okay?
So,
fine.
Sir,
yes.
Sir, in the difference operator,
yes.
Could you open the slide in which there were 3 rows?
Yes.
This one. Yes, sir. Sir, also in this, we won't be deleting it from the B, right? Like for the first row in the first table, we will check if that row exists or not in the B, and then again for the second, like it exists, but we won't delete that row, right? So I guess 1, 2, 3 shouldn't occur according to that statement, not in.
No. For visualization only I am saying that this is appearing here in table B. So I will not place that one in the resulting set. In this resulting set, I will not place it. The first instance, when they are appearing in both the tables, I will not immediately go and then populate 1, 2, 3 in the resulting table.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So here also it is appearing second time. So this is first time appearing, I will not put it. Second time it's appearing, still I will not place it. Third time appearing, I will place it. Okay.
But sir, it shouldn't be like we aren't deleting the first instance, no, right? From the B table. So why are we comparing the second instance from the A table in the second instance from the B table? Like that first instance still exists in the B table, right? So we can compare it from the first instance also, and it shouldn't occur in the result.
I get it. What you are saying. So what is the definition of set difference operator? We'll just kind of understand that one. See, these operations must adhere to whether in the presence of duplicates or in the absence of duplicates. They must fall back onto your true set definitions. So what is the true difference between what is the actual definition of set definition of A minus B? This is what is the difference. This is what is the definition.
Yes, sir.
In the absence of that one also it has to, in the absence of duplicates also it has to adhere to this one. In the presence of duplicates also it has to adhere to this one.
But sir, in sets we don't have duplicates, right? So
we do not have duplicates, but in the tables we have duplicates. So we make it this particular definition to hold. What is it that we get is that we have to say that still we have to adhere. The way that we adhere is that by removing all the identical instances from A and B, I will now complete the set difference between A and B. Then we will actually kind of adhere to the actual original definition.
but sir, according to the statement that you gave for the operation that is not in, so we would just check like if the any particular row in A is present in B or not. So
Yes. Yes.
I guess the count doesn't matter.
That is correct. That is correct. That is correct. And then that is where I wanted to once again get back to you. The other student is also asking: is that is this? So let me just say, is this truly gives me the bag operations or not? With respect to the duplicates? I'll once again kind of very clearly kind of convey to all of you with respect to the presence of the duplicate. Fine?
Okay. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes. Please go ahead.
Sir, in the slide number 33, again for this duplicates one, it is not adhering to the definition, no, sir. 1, 2, 3 belongs to both A1, A2, A3 and B1, B2, B3. So it shouldn't be there in the difference table, no, sir. Like E should belong to A, but should not belong to B.
The third instance of 1, 2, 3 is not present in table B. Right? So let me ask this question. Is the first instance of 1, 2, 3 in table A present in table B? It is present in first instance of table B. Is the second instance of table A present in any of the rows apart from first instance of table B?
But this is not what is the definition saying, no, sir. Saying it is definition considers the whole B.
No. See, in the presence of duplicates, this is what is the modified definition that needs to be implemented. That's what I wanted to say.
Acha, okay, sir. Got it.
Right?
Okay, sir. Got
See,
it.
we have to follow the definition because in the presence of duplicates, we have to handle the duplicates.
Okay, sir. Got it.
Good. And as far as the question of the other two students' questions, I'll get back to very clearly. Okay?
Hello, sir.
Sure. Yes. Please.
Yes, sir. I talked about the intersection like 5 and 3, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I performed the query just now on the MySQL client and it is giving 5 rows in the answer.
Okay, which means that we have to modify that intersection operator in a different way. That is all.
Yeah.
Right. 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 That is what he is also pointing out, that it must be minimum of 5 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Get it. Fine. So that is also one. The reason also is that MySQL does not implement the intersect keyword. So that is where we have to actually look at different route. Okay. Otherwise, if you look at Oracle database, intersect is already there. So it will take these duplicates also naturally and then populate it correctly.
Yeah.
Sure. Any other questions?
No, sir.
Okay then, thank you.